Hey, good morning, YouTubers. A long overdue update of my front yard desert garden. It's been a long time, but we had a long heat wave here, and it didn't do some of the plants good. And also, we've been enjoying the fruits of the garden, eating from it rather than photographing it. So it's no longer in its prime, but let's take a look. The buttercup squash didn't do that well this year, I think due to the heat wave, and we have 3 vines and actually just one major squash happening per vine. I think this is the biggest one here, looking pretty good. All the other squash turned yellow and fell off, or I pulled them off. There's a smaller one there, and a little bee doing its job there. And another squash here. The kabocha squash has, again, just one major squash per vine. Everything else came off, but this plant also got some powdery leaf mold, I think. It looks like it's going to do okay until harvest time. Oh, look what we have here. A cucumber. The vines from the cucumber plant cross over. Excuse me. That's a rather spiky cucumber. I think there's one here too. Yeah, very, very spiky cucumbers this year. I'll have to see what that means. And we did determine what these plants are at the end of the row here, and it's borage. And I remember planting borage last year. I do not remember it going to flower, but I guess it did because there's a bunch of plants here, volunteer style. Snapdragons are mostly gone. Well, they look like little skulls or something, the remains of it there. Alright, let's move on down the aisle. The little cucumber plant that I planted from seed actually has lots of cucumbers growing on it. This little teeny vine. Let's see how those do. Oh, bell peppers, got some bell peppers I think just about ready to pick. 3 of them on there. And this tomato plant needs to be lifted up, supported maybe on the trellis there on the fence. A lot of tomatoes. We had, as I said earlier, about a 2-month heat wave that was from 90 to 106 degrees here, and I think that stopped a lot of these blossoms from becoming tomatoes. This plant has, 100 blossoms or more, but it only has a few tomatoes growing on it. Yeah, some down at ground level there. And the collard greens still getting eaten by something. I have seen crickets flying around. That might be what's eating it, or something land-based. And there's some scallions, not doing too well. They're shaded by the tomato. As well, there's some Scarlet Nante carrots down there, and a lot more borage, which is crowding out the lavender. But lavender is doing okay, flowering nicely. Got this little green pepper lagging way behind, probably too far behind. Rosemary. And I think this is an early girl. There's some tomatoes. They look about ready to pick in there. Quite a few more that are getting closer. And I think this is the largest tomato plant of the group. And again, oh, there's one ready to pick. Got to come out here and pick something. And the little miniature celebrity, tiny little tomato plant with lots of big tomatoes. This plant also not doing too well. Not in its prime anymore for sure, but there are tomatoes, and we got a lot of good tomatoes from it. Some of these other things I'm letting go to bolt to seed just to see what happens. And this is radish, and these pretty little flowers, that's cilantro. Oh, maybe now it's coriander. And the basil also flowering. This husky cherry tomato plant ended up doing quite well. I think I'm going to plant more of these next year. There's a lot of tomatoes on this thing. I counted 80 at one time. Lots of groups of tomatoes, including some that are very ready to pick. The spinach didn't do too well either. It's there. And we'll let it go, see what happens. I did plant a late batch of green beans since I enjoyed my neighbor's green beans so much. And they're popping up. Lots of little sprouts coming up here. I planted about a week ago. They should be ready to eat in under 2 months. So, oh, we passed by this other bell pepper plant, didn't we? Yeah, there's some ready to pick bell peppers there. Well, 3 more. And get back and do a little panorama. Sun's coming up now. What else we got? The chamomile. There. And I pulled up all the lettuce from this area here. It wasn't doing too well. It was just so hot. The 100+ degree weather was rotting out the leaves, and I think we got some mildew on them also. The Nevada lettuce I let grow. It's not doing super well, but it may recover and become something good to eat still. But you can see lots of rotten leaves happened. And the mint also flowering. Buds there. Parsley's doing good. We've been using that. And the garlic chives also. So all in all, I'd say a successful garden this year with some troubles and some learning. I learned that the radishes, either I didn't like them or they just were too woody in this high temperature. Well, maybe we'll do some towards the end of summer. They were a variety that claimed to be mild, but they were not. I think they were Crimson Giant. Oh. But yeah, the squash didn't seem to like the excessive temperatures, both squash and cucumber. Last year, this area, I think, was about 2 feet high and covered in giant leaves from, I believe, the same variety of squash. Have to review my videos. But I do like the Burgess Buttercup. It's my favorite squash. Well, right up there with the kabocha. Oh, yeah, I think there was another kabocha squash at the end of a long runner. There, the plant starts here. And we got a cucumber runner and the squash runner all the way out here. There's the other kabocha squash. Not as big as this guy. Probably a couple of pounds already. Got a little ways to go. Oh, there's some cucumbers on this plant. But oh, there's a cucumber growing outside the fence. How about that? A lot of them turned yellow and fell off, but yeah, there's another cucumber right there. Yeah, really extra spiky. Not sure what that means, if it's just the variety, or if it had to do with the conditions. I'll take a Google search. Oh, alright, well, that's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And yeah, I don't know if there will be another video, because we're just going to eat everything. And well, we may do, as I say, another garden at the end of summer. Try some leafy greens again, and maybe try the radish again. Alright, until next time, signing off.